So the kindness, goodness, and love that we have invested are seeds that will grow and germinate in the hearts of these children, will also be able to spread all around the world.
Quality education is every child's right. This is among the most vital and focal advocacies of the Children's Joy Foundation Incorporated since its inception in 1998. Education that offers a child not only the means to achieve his or her dreams and full potential as an active contributing member of a nation's economy, but most importantly, trains and molds a child's character, a holistic approach to developing his or her complete well-being, to become socially responsible, God-fearing citizens who have compassion and love towards those who need it, and a sound judgment to always choose what is right and what is best for the common good. The Philippines is a beautiful archipelagic country in Southeast Asia with more than 7,000 islands, one of the world's largest archipelago nations. Home to around 105 million Filipinos, the Philippines is known for its rich natural beauty, remarkable beaches, sunny weather, and rich biodiversity, with a unique and complex culture that attracts many people to visit the country. Yet against the backdrop of this pristine beauty is a crisis that the Filipino people are struggling with. Having shed its reputation of being the sick man of Asia, the Philippines is now Asia's rising tiger. Or is it? "26 million Filipinos remain poor, with half of this number living in extreme poverty, lacking the means to feed themselves. 44% of Filipinos still consider themselves poor. 3.8 million children and youth, aged 6 to 24 years old, are out of school. This is 10% of the 39 million Filipinos within this age range. 26% of children up to 2 years old suffer from chronic malnutrition, resulting to illness and disabilities, and cannot cope with schoolwork as among the top 10 reasons why children and youth are out of school in the Philippines. The inclusive growth of the Philippines' most important sectors continue to elude the country, creating a huge gap where the country's macroeconomic growth is barely felt in the grassroots. Poverty remains one of the major barriers to education in the Philippines. Regardless of recent educational reforms which hope to improve the country's educational system, 2017 still opened as a new school year with the same old problems. Large number of students cramped into one class. Temporary holding of classes outside or in another school because of the lack of rooms. Numerous number of students waiting for their turn to borrow one of the very few books and learning materials available. That is, if learning materials were provided at all. If none were provided, the teacher will have to produce his or her own materials. This data do not include far-flung rural areas and communities where a school is completely absent. One of the Children's Joy Foundation Incorporated's adopted communities in the mountainous regions of Sarangani Province is just one among the many places where children has to walk for hours just to reach the nearest school. When it rains, the children cannot go to school because the roads become unpassable. These children come from very poor families. Most of them go to school with an empty stomach. This difficult situation leads many of them to drop out of school, while others never attend school at all. The emergence of private education in the 1990s, on the other hand, did little to supplement the need for a better and quality education in the country, because sending a child to a private school is too expensive, requiring financial resources that majority of Filipino families do not have. The thousands of teachers and educators leaving the country in search for greener pastures made the country's educational crisis even worse. In an effort to improve the educational system, the Department of Budget and Management reported that the education sector got the highest budgetary allocation in 2018. Whether or not it will make a difference still remains to be seen, as the country continues to fight years of corruption in all levels and ranks of government. A strong proponent of children's rights, welfare, and protection, Pastor Apollo C. Kibuloy longed to see a world where children are cared for, protected, and loved. As a young evangelist, he traveled around the Philippines and saw children neglected, abandoned, abused, and deprived. He promised the Almighty God that if He will bless him, He will make a difference in every child's life. And this is how the Children's Joy Foundation Incorporated began in 1998. 20 years later, CJFI has become one of the most reputable and highly regarded social welfare and development agencies in the Philippines, advocating for children's rights, welfare, and protection, with 6 residential care centers and adopted communities all over the Philippines. Establishing strong linkages from within and outside the country as it pursues its goal to expand and strengthen its global operations. Having recognized the shortcomings of the Philippines educational system, Pastor Apollo made quality education a priority as one of CJFI's programs and services. In the year 2000, he established the Jose Maria Academy, now known as the Jose Maria College, one of the most prestigious schools in the Philippines. More than 70% of JMC students are composed of scholars and children beneficiaries of the Children's Joy Foundation Incorporated, underprivileged children who do not have the means to go to a good school. To better facilitate the growth and development of each child, a JMC campus extension was also built inside the CJFI residential care compound in Davao City, Philippines, where all of the residents of the CJFI Davao Residential Center attend primary and secondary school. The presence of this campus extension also benefits indigent children from the community who are given full educational scholarships. Bound by the same advocacy to make a difference in the lives of children in need, JMC and CJFI has become valuable partners in molding future young leaders who can create, innovate, and contribute to the nation's progress. Studies show that a person's life successes, health, and well-being have their roots in early childhood. CJFI recognizes this need and responds to this most important stage of a young child's development by providing a venue where they can start exploring the world around them, play and interact with other children their age, learn to speak and listen, and study how to read and write. Through collaboration and partnership with local government units and organizations with the same advocacy, CJFI is able to build daycare centers where young children who come from low-income families and cannot afford the costs of preschool education can jumpstart their emotional, social, physical, and cognitive development. Supplemental feeding and regular provision of school supplies are also implemented in these adopted communities. Knowledge of basic computer applications is among the most vital skills needed to thrive in today's modern world. Unfortunately, the poor quality of education in the Philippines also means the country is facing a poor computer literacy rate. Data show that 60% of public schools in the Philippines only have one computer unit, or none at all, while the other 40% have a very low computer-to-student ratio and lacking competent ICT teachers. True enough, CJFI witnessed this as the Dell CJFI Computer Literacy Program team continued to visit different towns, cities, and municipalities in the Philippines. One of CJFI's partner elementary schools in Quezon City has one computer laboratory with 20 computers. With a student population of more than 5,000 and without an ICT teacher on staff, the school can barely cater to the students' computer education. On the other hand, a partner elementary school in Sarangani province do not have any computer units. When CJFI first visited the school, the students were awed when they handled the computer equipment for the very first time. The expression in their faces evokes mixed emotions of happiness and sadness. Joy because it is such a heartwarming experience to be able to make an impact in these children's lives. But at the same time, it is saddening to know there are millions of unfortunate children like them who face the same challenges. Through CJFI's partnership with Dell Technologies, CJFI continues to impart the computer literacy program to thousands of beneficiaries across the Philippines, not only to children and young people, but also adults who need computer education. As the Children's Joy Foundation Incorporated touches and transforms the lives of more underprivileged children, not only in the Philippines but also in different countries around the world, the people behind CJFI will always remember the words of its founder, Pastor Apollo C. Kibuloy, that what we are doing is more than just helping to solve a social illness or to contribute to the nation's progress. Most importantly, it is an act of love.